Good evening, this is Justin from dustoffthebible.com, and today I'd like to talk briefly about Psalm 12, verses 5 through 7. First, I would like to point out that there's a big controversy between the King James and the modern Bible translations because they do render this passage much differently. However, the NIV is different because it's a little bit interpretive in how it's rendering the passage. The King James actually gets it correct. However, I believe there's justification for translating it in the interpretive way, and I'll explain that now. First and foremost, let's read the passage. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. Thou shalt keep them, O Lord. Thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever. Now, the NIV deviates a little bit away from that passage in that they don't include the pronominal verbiage them. They actually try to tell you what them is. The words of the Lord are flawless, like silver purified in a crucible, like gold refined 7 times. You, Lord, will keep the needy safe. The needy replaces them, and you will protect us forever. Us is also replacing an iteration of them. Now the question is, which is correct? First of all, let's just state that them is the correct translation. King James got it right. That doesn't mean that the NIV got it wrong. It just means that they added interpretation into the passage. And I'm actually going to root in favor of the NIV for this one reason. Because the King James only movement continually uses this passage to show that God will preserve his word or words forever. Well, this passage isn't actually about God preserving his words, it's about God preserving the needy, and we're going to show that right now. In Hebrew, we have a little more information. In English, we have plural and we have singular words. Typically, a pronoun would have to match the singular or the plural form of its antecedent or the object that it's referring to. In Hebrew and in Greek and in many other languages, it has to match both gender and number. Meaning, if we have a pronoun them has a gender and a number. It's going to be plural because them is always plural, and it's going to be either male or female, and that conjugation is going to depend on what it's referring to. If it's referring to something that is in a plural masculine conjugation, then it'll match that. So the question is, what is the correct antecedent to go with this pronoun? Is it the words of the Lord, or is it the needy? Both are plural, so the only way to know is to look at the gender. So what would be the gender that we're looking for? Well, the Hebrew underlying this text is Atah Yahweh Tishmarem, and that pronominal suffix on the word chem refers to masculine plural. So what word matches the masculine plural pronoun? It is the poor or the needy, which is aniim. So what about the words of the Lord? Well, the words of the Lord are actually going to be feminine plural. So the ending, ot, is going to indicate that it is a feminine plural word. And that is going to show up here as amarot, which is feminine plural. So it's clear to see that them is obviously referring to the needy, not to the words of the Lord. So I am in favor of the NIV rendering as opposed to the King James rendering only because it provides accuracy where the English language lacks that accuracy. It is not possible to show that the pronoun is linked to the poor or the needy in English because we don't have genders. Now the next thing is that them shows up twice. So it also says after that the Lord will preserve them from this generation forever. And then it says, and will protect us forever in the NIV. So we see another interpretation problem here. Well, in the Hebrew language, there is a pronominal suffix, and the suffix is going to be nu. The Hebrew word is tishrenu. And what we're looking at is a conjugation, he will preserve us. Now, it could also be translated as them but us is not a bad translation either. The King James, however, has a marginal footnote showing that they may have had an alternate Hebrew manuscript. They note that they actually see the Hebrew word or the Hebrew suffix for him, not for them or for us. Just a quick note, the Hebrew pronominal suffix for them is the same as the one for us. So it's either third common plural or first common plural. It can be either one, the context will provide. However, the King James translators note in the margin that they saw the pronominal suffix for him. However, they translated it as them so that it would match the previous them that was already in the passage. So it's clear to see that whether or not you like the rendering of us, them, or him, it's still not referring to the words of the Lord. So what is being preserved? What is being protected? It is clearly the poor, the needy, and if you like alternate readings, it could also be the poor, needy, and us forever. So there you have it. You can make up your mind for yourself, but it is clear from the Hebrew text that the interpretive method that the NIV used is accurate, it is correct, and it is valid.